The Galactic Council's emergency session was interrupted by the blaring of alarms. Admiral Lox, a tall, blue-skinned Ardelian with 6 eyes, rushed to the command center. The holographic display showed yet another commercial vessel had been captured, the third this cycle. "It's them again," growled Captain Trell, her exoskeleton clicking nervously. The humans. Throughout the known universe, that word alone was enough to send shivers down the spines of traders and military personnel alike. Humans, the upstart species that had transformed from curious explorers to the most feared pirates in the galaxy in less than 2 centuries. The CSS Dreadnought, an enormous vessel of unmistakably human design, glided alongside the captured merchant ship. Its hull was a patchwork of stolen technology: Vortian shield generators, helix propulsion systems, and weapon arrays from a dozen different civilizations. What made it truly terrifying was not its size, but the unpredictable brilliance of its crew. "Open a channel," ordered Admiral Lox, his voice steady despite his fear. The main screen flickered to life, revealing Captain Jack Reed, a weathered human male with a scared face and a predatory smile. Unlike the uniformed military commanders of the Galactic Council, Reed wore a mismatched collection of leathers and metals, adorned with trophies from his conquests. "Admiral." Reed nodded, mock respect in his tone. "You're looking particularly blue today." "Release the vessel immediately," demanded Lox. "The Council will not tolerate." Reed laughed, the sound echoing through the command center. "The Council hasn't been able to stop us for 50 years. Admiral, what makes you think today is different?" What made humans such effective pirates wasn't their technology. Most species had access to similar tools. It wasn't even their adaptability, though that certainly helped. It was their unique psychology, a combination of recklessness, creativity, and an uncanny ability to inspire loyalty even among the most disparate crews. Reed's first mate, a human woman named Morgan, stepped into view. Unlike many species that enforced rigid hierarchies, humans readily followed the most competent among them, regardless of age, gender, or background. "We'll be taking this shipment of quantum processors," Morgan stated matter-of-factly. "Your corporate overlords can afford the loss." The Galactic Council had tried everything: increased patrols, automated defense systems, even hiring human mercenaries to combat human pirates. Nothing worked. The pirates always seemed one step ahead, their tactics evolving faster than countermeasures could be developed. "You can't outrun us forever," Lox warned. "The combined fleet is already tracking your position." Reed's smile widened. "Good. Tell them we left something for them to find." The transmission cut abruptly. Moments later, alarms blared as sensors detected multiple small craft launching from the Dreadnought. Not away from the combined fleet, but toward it. Boarding parties. Captain Trell realized with horror. They're not running. They're attacking the fleet directly. This was the essence of human space piracy. While other species developed elaborate avoidance strategies or defensive postures, humans had perfected the art of the counterattack. They didn't just steal, they conquered. As the Council's command center erupted into chaos, a junior officer approached Admiral Lox with a trembling datapad. "Sir, we just received word. 3 more human pirate vessels have appeared in the Proxima sector. They've seized control of the defense platform." Lox stared at the display, watching as the carefully organized formation of the combined fleet broke apart under the human assault. These weren't just raiders, they were revolutionaries, reshaping the power structures of the galaxy with every audacious attack. The era of human space piracy had only just begun. Humanity's journey from planetary inhabitants to galactic terrors began not with conquest, but with desperation. In the late 22nd century, Earth had become a corporate oligarchy, with the wealthy few controlling access to space and its resources. The masses remained earthbound, fighting over dwindling resources and choking on polluted air. Thomas Reed, great-grandfather of the infamous Captain Jack Reed, had been a mining engineer for Stellar Resources Corporation. when his entire team was abandoned on an asteroid following a cost-cutting decision by management, they made a choice that would alter human history. They seized the transport vessel and declared themselves independent. "We didn't start as pirates," Thomas had written in his manifesto, now required reading in the hidden academies where human raiders train their young. "We became pirates because the alternative was extinction." The first human pirates targeted only corporate vessels, redistributing resources to struggling Earth colonies. They operated on a code of ethics that forbade harming civilians and prioritized freedom above all else. For a time, they were heroes to the common people of Earth and its colonies. But when humanity made first contact with the Ardelians in 2219, everything changed. The Galactic Council, dominated by ancient species with established territories, refused to recognize human sovereignty beyond their solar system. Worse, they entered into exclusive trade agreements with Earth's corporate masters, strengthening the very power structures the space rebels fought against. "They gave us no choice," wrote Alina Morgan, founder of the Morgan Corsair dynasty, in her battle logs. "The Council declared us outlaws simply for existing outside their control. So we embraced the title." Human pirates began studying alien technology, often stealing it piece by piece, while the corporate-controlled Earth military attempted to integrate into the Galactic Council's defense forces, subjugating themselves to alien command. The pirates maintained their independence, developing hybrid technologies that confounded conventional defense systems. By 2250, human pirate vessels incorporated faster-than-light drives reverse-engineered from Vortian technology, but modified in ways their creators had never imagined. They used helix shield systems, but reconfigured them to double as weapons in ways that horrified their original designers. The Council's fatal mistake came when they attempted to make an example of the human settlement on Europa, declaring it a pirate haven, not entirely incorrect. They authorized a military action that resulted in the deaths of thousands of civilians. The response from human pirates was swift and devastating. The Battle of Ganymede Ring became the first instance where human raiders coordinated on a large scale. Over 30 independently operated pirate vessels, traditionally competitors, formed a temporary alliance that utterly destroyed the Council's punitive fleet. "They expected us to fight like them," noted Captain Liam Walker in his battle records. "Predictable tactics, respect for military hierarchy, fear of casualties. We had none of those constraints." Human pirates fought with an improvisational ferocity that bewildered their opponents. They used mining equipment as weapons, converted passenger vessels into battering rams, and employed suicide gambits, only to reveal the suicide pilots had ejected in stealth pods moments before impact. Most shocking to the Council species was the humans' comfort with boarding actions. While most spacefaring races considered ship-to-ship combat the civilized approach, humans excelled at directly invading enemy vessels, fighting in close quarters with primitive but effective weapons. By the dawn of the 24th century, the term human had become synonymous with pirate in much of the galaxy, despite the fact that Earth's official representatives still operated within Council law. The freedom-seeking pirates had become humanity's true ambassadors to the stars, feared, respected, and completely untamed. As Jack Reed's ancestor had written, "They wanted us confined to one world. Instead, every star now flies our flag." What truly distinguished human space pirates from their alien counterparts wasn't merely their tactics, but their extraordinary arsenal, a collection of weapons, ships, and technologies that defied conventional classification. While the Galactic Council's forces operated with standardized equipment and strict protocols, humans embraced chaotic innovation. The cornerstone of human pirate supremacy was their ship design philosophy. Unlike the specialized vessels of other species, dedicated warships, cargo haulers, or exploration craft, human ships were universally modular. The infamous Blackjack-class raiders could transform from merchant vessels to battleships in under 30 minutes, their hidden weapon systems deploying from seemingly innocent cargo containers. "Never bring the same ship to the same sector twice," read the pirate's code, a loose set of guidelines followed by most human raiders. This adaptability made human pirate vessels nearly impossible to track or counter effectively. Commander Elisa Drake of the pirate vessel Kraken pioneered the honeycomb hull, a revolutionary design that compartmentalized ships into hundreds of semi-independent sections. When conventional weapons breached one compartment, automatic bulkheads sealed, allowing the rest of the ship to function. Ships that should have been destroyed continued fighting with 70% of their structure compromised. The Ardelians build beautiful ships, Drake once remarked after capturing an enemy vessel. Ours are ugly because beauty doesn't survive combat. Perhaps most terrifying to the Council species was the human approach to personal combat. While most civilized races had long ago abandoned physical fighting in favor of automated defense systems, humans maintained and elevated the art of close-quarters battle. The breach teams, a light boarding party specialized in capturing enemy vessels, became legendary across the galaxy. Equipped with exoskeletons that amplify their already formidable strength, these pirates could tear through bulkheads with hydraulic claws or specialized plasma cutters called skeleton keys. Their signature weapon, the multipurpose Corsair Gauntlet, housed a compact arsenal, grappling hooks, short-range stun weapons, scanning devices, and the dreaded pheasant knife, a vibrating blade that could cut through almost any known material. A single human wearing this equipment could neutralize an entire alien vessel's security team. Council species, evolving in environments with predictable threats, had developed specialized defenses against specific dangers. Humans, having survived Earth's chaotic ecosystem and their own violent history, approached combat with a versatility that left enemies constantly off balance. Then there were the information weapons. Human hackers, called riggers, specialized in subverting alien technologies. They deployed sophisticated viruses that didn't merely damage systems, but reprogrammed them, turning enemy weaponry against its users. The infamous Judas Protocol could convert standard communication systems into surveillance devices, giving pirates ears and eyes throughout enemy territory. Technology doesn't care who built it, went a common rigger saying. It only cares who controls it now. Perhaps the most unsettling human innovation was their biological arsenal. Drawing on centuries of terrestrial germ warfare research, human pirates developed non-lethal, but highly incapacitating compounds targeted to specific alien physiologies. The species-specific scramblers could render an entire crew unconscious while leaving humans unaffected, allowing for bloodless ship captures. The Council scientists were perpetually frustrated by their inability to reverse engineer many human weapons. This wasn't due to any technological superiority, but rather the deliberately jury-rigged nature of human equipment. Pirates modified their gear constantly, with no standardization or documentation. Captured weapons often self-destructed when examined, not through sophisticated security measures, but because they had been built to operate beyond safe parameters in the first place. Human weapons aren't designed, observed one exasperated Vortian engineer. They're evolved through desperate improvisation. By the time the Galactic Council recognized the true threat humans posed, it was too late. Their arsenal had advanced beyond countermeasures, their methods too unpredictable for strategic planning. What began as primitive rebellion had transformed into the most sophisticated asymmetric warfare the galaxy had ever witnessed. As Captain Morgan told a captured Council admiral, "You built an orderly universe with orderly weapons. We brought chaos, and chaos always wins." The transformation from scattered pirate bands to the human Corsair Confederacy happened not through conquest, but through necessity. As the Galactic Council deployed increasingly desperate measures to contain the human threat, the pirates were forced to develop political structures that maintained their freedom while coordinating their activities. Port Royal Station, built from the hollowed-out remains of a captured Council battleship, became the first permanent seat of the pirate parliament in 2378. Located in the lawless region between the Ardelian and Vortian territories, it represented everything the Council feared. A stable, organized human presence beyond their control. We're not building an empire, declared Admiral Morgan during the first Parliament session. "We're building a haven for everyone the Council deems unworthy." This marked a crucial evolution in human space piracy. What began as a human rebellion expanded to include disenfranchised members of all species. Exiles, refugees, political dissidents, and even defectors from Council militaries found their way to human territories, bringing with them knowledge, technology, and a burning desire for revenge against their former masters. The Council's propaganda depicting humans as barbaric monsters backfired spectacularly. When non-human species actually encountered the pirates, they discovered something unexpected. While humans might raid and steal, they judged others based on actions rather than biology. Skill and loyalty mattered more than species in the pirate havens. By 2400, the Corsair Confederacy controlled 27 major stations and hundreds of smaller outposts throughout the galaxy. They operated parallel trade networks that offered better rates than Council-sanctioned commerce, particularly in frontier regions where official presence was minimal. The pirate economy thrived on a simple principle: goods flowed where they were needed, not where regulations dictated. Blockaded worlds found human smugglers willing to break embargoes for a price. Oppressed colonies discovered human raiders would target their oppressors' supply lines for a cut of the liberated resources. "We're not revolutionaries," Captain Jack Reed repeatedly insisted. "We're business people with extreme negotiation tactics." This pragmatism extended to the Confederacy's political structure. The pirate parliament operated on a representative system where territory wasn't the determinant of power, contribution was. Stations and ships that contributed more to the collective defense or economy received more votes, creating a meritocracy that rewarded success without becoming a true democracy or dictatorship. The Council's worst nightmare materialized when human pirates began attracting military defectors. Elite alien commanders, frustrated by rigid hierarchies and political constraints, found the human system allowed for greater tactical freedom and faster advancement based on merit rather than seniority. Commander Trell, once the Council's most decorated Helix captain, became the first non-human to achieve admiral rank in the Corsair fleet. Her intimate knowledge of Council defense protocols proved invaluable in expanding pirate territories. "In the Council, I spent 60 years following orders I knew were ineffective," she explained after a particularly successful raid. "With humans, I've achieved more in 5 years than in my entire previous career." The Corsair territories became known for technological innovation that outpaced the Council's heavily regulated research institutions. With no ethical restraints beyond "will it work?" human-led engineering teams developed hybrid technologies that official scientists wouldn't dare attempt. By 2450, what the Council dismissed as pirate activity had evolved into a parallel civilization, one that operated on fundamentally different principles than the established galactic order. It wasn't an empire in the traditional sense. It maintained no central authority beyond the loose parliament. Yet its influence extended throughout known space, invisible until it struck. As Admiral Reed remarked to a captured Council diplomat, "You still don't understand what we've built. It's not territory we control. It's the spaces between territories. Not the planets, but the routes connecting them. Not governments, but the commerce they depend on. You rule worlds. We rule everything else." The Galactic Council found itself in an impossible position. They couldn't negotiate with pirates without legitimizing them. Yet they couldn't defeat an enemy that controlled no fixed territory and operated by no predictable rules. Human space piracy had become more than a criminal enterprise. It had evolved into the galaxy's shadow government, an alternative power structure that thrived in the very interstices of the Council's authority. 500 years after Thomas Reed's first act of rebellion, the human pirate legacy had fundamentally reshaped galactic civilization. The old Galactic Council still existed in name, but its power had been hollowed out by centuries of human-led disruption and innovation. The Grand Conclave of 2682, held aboard the massive space station New Tortuga, marked the official recognition of the human Corsair Confederacy as a legitimate political entity. Representatives from 17 formerly Council-aligned species attended, not as conquerors or the conquered, but as pragmatic partners acknowledging the new reality. We never sought to overthrow the Council. Admiral Emma Reed, descendant of the original pirate lineage, addressed the assembled delegates. We simply created a better alternative and let history take its course. The legacy of human piracy manifested in three profound changes to galactic civilization. First was the collapse of centralized authority. The Council's once absolute control over interstellar commerce had fragmented into regional agreements, with the Corsair Confederacy maintaining influence through its control of key transit routes. Second was the technological revolution. The pirate tradition of adapting and combining technologies without regard for their original purpose had led to innovations that transformed everyday life throughout the galaxy. The very communication system used during the Grand Conclave, allowing instantaneous translation across dozens of languages, had originated in pirate hacking tools designed to intercept Council transmissions. Third, and perhaps most significant, was the cultural shift. The human pirate value of judging individuals by their actions rather than their origins had spread beyond Corsair territories. Mixed-species crews, once found only aboard pirate vessels, became common throughout the galaxy. Rigid hierarchies gave way to more adaptive organizational structures inspired by pirate governance. The pirates didn't conquer us, admitted former Council Admiral Locks, now an elder statesman. They infected us with their chaos. Yet challenges remained. The Reed dynasty, which had led the Corsair Parliament for generations, faced internal pressures from ambitious captains seeking to break away and establish independent territories. The delicate balance between organized governance and individual freedom, always the central tension in pirate society, threatened to unravel the Confederacy from within. Meanwhile, at the edges of known space, reports emerged of something new. Non-human pirate fleets operating with tactics clearly inspired by human strategies, but adapted to their own biological advantages. The students were becoming masters, potentially outcompeting their human teachers. "We created a universe of pirates," observed Captain Morgan during a Parliament session. "We shouldn't be surprised when they eventually turn on us." As humanity approached its 1,000th year among the stars, the legacy of its pirate tradition remained uncertain. Had they truly created a more just alternative to the Council's rigid hierarchy, or merely replaced one form of power with another? Was the Corsair Confederacy the final form of human influence in the galaxy, or merely a transitional phase towards something yet unimagined? What remained undisputed was the transformation human pirates had wrought. From desperate rebels to galactic power brokers, they had rewritten the rules of interstellar politics not through overwhelming force, but through relentless adaptation and opportunism. The final entry in Admiral Jack Reed's personal log, discovered after his death in battle against a rogue AI fleet, perhaps best summarized the human pirate's legacy. "We came to the stars as outcasts and made ourselves kings. Not through conquest. The alien empires always had more ships, more soldiers, more worlds. We ruled because we understood what they didn't. True power isn't controlling territory. It's controlling connections. Not planets, but the spaces between planets. Not resources, but the flow of resources. Pirates don't build empires. We build networks. And in the end, the network always outlives the empire." Throughout the galaxy, in shadowy stations, and on countless ships, human pirates and their diverse allies continued their ancestors' tradition, not merely surviving at the margins of civilization, but thriving there, reshaping the very definition of what civilization could be. The age of human space piracy had no end in sight. After all, as the pirate saying went, "The stars belong to those bold enough to take them."